The gaslights flicker against the thick fog drifting through lower Manhattan's alleys. The cobblestone streets are wet from an early rain. Somewhere in the shadows, a woman screams, and then, silence. Just silence. This isn't just another murder. This is the beginning of a nightmare that would seize New York in a grip of pure terror. Someone is hunting women in the city's most vulnerable neighborhoods, moving like a phantom, killing with surgical precision, and vanishing into the night. He didn't just kill. He terrorized. He carved fear into the bones of a bustling, growing metropolis. They called him Jack the Ripper. Over a century later, his name still echoes in true crime lore. But who was he? Why did he target the slums of New York? And how did he slip away without a trace? Welcome to True Crime Hub. And tonight, we dig deep into the American version of one of history's darkest unsolved mysteries. By 1888, New York City was a booming melting pot, overflowing with immigrants, struggling workers, and rampant poverty. The Lower East Side, particularly around the Bowery and Five Points, was a world of overcrowded tenements, crime, and desperation. That summer, the nightmare began. On August 31st, the mutilated body of Marian Nichols was found near a rundown alley by the East River. Her throat was slashed so deeply it nearly decapitated her. Her abdomen was butchered. A week later, Annie Chapman was found behind a tenement in the Fourth Ward. Her insides had been removed. It was deliberate, almost surgical. By September 30th, 2 more victims were discovered in the same night: Elizabeth Stride in an alley near Delancey Street and Catherine Eddowes down near Chatham Square. One seemed rushed, the other deeply mutilated. A haunting pattern emerged. The final known victim, Mary Jane Kelly, was found inside her tiny room on the Bowery in November. She had been so horrifically disfigured, even the most seasoned detectives broke down at the scene. All the women were poor. Most worked the streets. All were slaughtered in the dead of night. A killer was loose in New York, and the city was gripped by fear. The case exploded in the newspapers. Headlines screamed of a butcher prowling the East Side. Panic spread. And then, the letters began arriving. The first, addressed to the New York Police Department, began with 2 haunting words. "Dear Boss." It was written in blood-red ink. The writer mocked the police and signed the note Jack the Ripper. Next came the saucy Jackie postcard, mailed days after the double murder. The writer claimed responsibility, saying the killings had been too good to miss. But the most infamous letter arrived with something far worse: a piece of a human kidney, soaked in alcohol. The note read, "I send you half the kidney I took from one woman. The other I fried and ate. It was very nice." The letter was signed, simply, "From hell." Were these the words of the killer, or just cruel imitations designed to stir up more fear? We may never know. The NYPD and Pinkerton detectives worked overtime. Over 80 suspects were questioned, but no arrests stuck. Yet 3 names still haunt the case files. 1. Montague John Drute, a troubled school teacher from Brooklyn Heights, found drowned in the East River weeks after the final killing. Some believe he ended his life because of guilt. 2. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant barber living near Canal Street. He had a history of violent outbursts and was later institutionalized. In 2014, a disputed DNA test from an old shawl seemingly linked him to the crimes. 3. Prince Albert Victor, a member of British royalty rumored to have visited New York in secret. Some conspiracies suggest his presence was tied to a scandal or hidden affair, fueling wild theories of political cover-ups and protection from the crown. Many others were accused: butchers, doctors, immigrants, even women. Yet no one was ever charged. The killer simply vanished, like smoke in the New York fog. Today, investigators have access to tools far beyond what 19th century detectives could imagine: DNA testing, digital profiling, geographic analysis. But it may still be too little, too late. The crime scenes were contaminated. Evidence was never properly preserved. And many suspect files were lost to time, or destroyed in fires and floods. Still, modern theorists believe Jack the Ripper was likely a local New Yorker, someone who knew the East Side's maze of alleys and could disappear in seconds. Others point to his surgical precision, suggesting he was a medical student, butcher, or doctor, someone who understood anatomy and controlled his killings with terrifying efficiency. There's even growing belief that he wasn't acting alone, that there was more than one killer operating in the shadows. Every theory adds fuel to the fire, but the truth remains buried. So why does the case still matter? Because Jack the Ripper wasn't just a killer. He was the beginning of a terrifying pattern, the modern serial killer. He was methodical, symbolic, and manipulative. He weaponized fear and let the press do the rest. And perhaps most chilling of all, he got away with it. For true crime lovers, this case is the ultimate enigma, a real-life horror story that has no ending. No arrest, no justice, just victims and silence. In a city that never sleeps, evil once walked openly and was never brought to justice. What do you think? Was it Kosminski, Drut, or someone the police never suspected? Could Jack the Ripper have been hiding in plain sight in New York City? Let us know in the comments. Share your theories. Engage with others. The truth might still be out there. And if you're captivated by unsolved mysteries, chilling murders, and stories the world forgot, subscribe to True Crime Hub and hit the bell icon so you never miss a case. Because some killers vanish, but their stories remain. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Stay safe.